What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so this is a requested video from one of my subscribers that wanted me to know, or it's not quite the way I should have phrased that. They wanted me to give my opinion on Nikola Jokic, and the question was, let's see if I can find it. The question was, if Jokic wins another MVP or championship or both, where would he rank all time? Would he have a case to be a top 10 player in NBA history with those kinds of accomplishments? I mean, let's look at his resume right now. Right? Let's go Nikola Jokic. So right now he's an NBA champion. He's a Finals MVP. He's a 3-time league MVP. He's a 6-time All-Star. He's a 4-time All-NBA first team, a 2-time All-NBA second team. He was on the NBA All-Rookie first team, 3-time Serbian Player of the Year, ABA League MVP, not the ABA that we know and love from the 60s and 70s, and ABA League top prospect. Now, the last three things I mentioned were European accomplishments, so they should not be relevant when it comes to his NBA standards, NBA ranking. Although it shouldn't matter if you're talking about just basketball rankings altogether, pro basketball. Now, his career averages are 21 points per game, 10.7 rebounds, 6.9 assists, 56% shooting from the floor, 35% from downtown, 83% from the line, and a career PER rating of 28.1, which is number one all time, eclipsing the great Michael Jordan, whose career PER rating is 27.9, and 112.8 career total win shares, and an effective field goal percentage of 59.2%. Now, all the accolades I just named, look, the 3-time league MVP. Only a handful of players in the history of the NBA have won 3 or more MVPs. They include Bill Russell. They include, matter of fact, let me list them to make sure that I get them all. They include Bill Russell. They include Will Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Jordan, LeBron Ramon James. I think I'm forgetting some. Moses Malone, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. I might be forgetting somebody, but I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys with league MVPs, 3 or more league MVPs. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting somebody. Someone can tell me if I am, but these guys right here are the best players in the history of the NBA, the most dominant players. Now, I know from a skill standpoint, people look at Bill Russell, who's not quite there, but the brother won 11 NBA championships, man. So he's a top 10 all-time player. So by that metric, Nikola Jokic is in the conversation. Now, Moses is not usually considered a top 10 all-time player, but he's usually considered in top 15 to 20. He really should be top 15. So Jokic right now does have a case. If you're looking at his resume, he has a case to be a top 15 all-time player. Now, what can hurt him a little bit is you look at this level of competition, all right? This ain't the days of Chamberlain and Russell when these guys are going at each other all the time. People talk about, it was only 18s, but that means also that Bill Russell was playing against each other more often. They're also going up against other big men like Nate Thurman all the time. They're also going up against Walt Bellamy all the time. So there's only 8 to 10 teams, but I've already named, 4 Hall of Fame centers That means they're going up against Hall of Fame talent almost every damn night. But to the Nimrods, the neighboring Nimrods of nepotism and negativism, spiritual active. To those clowns, they don't really look at the big picture. Not to mention Azel Mobidi, who came into the NBA a little bit later, right? Willis Reed, Wes Unseld, Bob Lanier, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Never mind those guys. Elvin Hayes, I've named him. Never mind them. But anyway, my point is, Joker doesn't play against really any quality big men. Hell, Joel Embiid's hurt every goddamn time. He hasn't played Joel Embiid in Denver in 5 years. Kind of wonder what excuse he's going to have now to not going to Denver. But anyway, so there's lack of competition in that position. Really, you just got Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis when they're healthy. And Giannis, who's really a power forward. Also, you look at the level of competition in that championship run. They went up against, if I remember correctly, I think they beat a Timberwolves team that weren't they an AC that year? Then they beat a Suns team that was a 4th seed. Then they beat, in the finals, conference finals, they beat a Lakers team that was a 7th seed. And then they beat in the finals a Heat team that was a play-in team. That almost was like basically a few minutes away from being eliminated in the play-in. So they didn't play the most stellar competition either. Then you look at Jokic this year, and just last night he choked. He choked down the stretch in a game that was winnable. Okay? Putting up big numbers, but he's choking. So look, if he was another MVP, that's 4 MVPs. It's kind of hard to not put a guy with 4 MVPs not in the top 10. I know those guys who don't have LeBron in their top 10s. Kind of hard to not have a guy with that many league MVPs not in your top 10. The stats tell me that if you give Jokic 4 MVPs, the stats tell me that if you give him 2 championships, another Finals MVP, that not only do you have a top 10 player, but you got arguably a top 5 all-time player, statistically. But the eye test tells me that Joker may benefit from several things. He benefits from the fact that he's seen as a bit of a, I don't want to say, I use the term unicorn maybe. He does so many different things that is popular in today's NBA. He, can score in the post. He has a mid-range J. He can shoot from outside. He's a great facilitator, one of the great passing big men of all time. And he's been consistent. Okay, he's consistent. I think he's the all-time leader in triple-doubles for a center, right? But you can also make an argument that sometimes Joker puts up numbers that don't always translate toward success as far as the Denver Nuggets, you know what I mean? And his fan base is insufferable. By that I mean, when they're winning, they want to minimize the contributions of other players on the team. When they went to the championship run, never mind the fact that Jamal Murray averaged 30-plus points per game in the conference finals. All about Jokic. Never mind Jamal Murray hitting big shots and game winners for them throughout their playoff runs. It's about Joker. But the minute they lose, then these imbeciles then point the finger to other players. And that's the problem I have with today's fan base. At the end of the day, great players should get props when they win. They get more of the praise. But when the team lose, you got to get the smoke. As Uncle Ben once told Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. So at the end of the day, I look at it like this. I wouldn't say Joker is a top 10 player. Um, I really don't. I really haven't sat back and thought about what ranking is appropriate for him. But I would say top 25, maybe, because there's some questions about some of his MVPs. You could argue, maybe some of those MVPs you could have looked at, maybe giving it Joel Embiid and I'm not feeling him right now. Maybe even Giannis. Um, you could look at those types of things. Oh, by the way, the fact that he has 3 league MVPs tells me that he's not going to get his 4th, because there's a certain guy that plays for a certain team in LA who has 4, and he is very self-centered and selfish. And just my opinion, they don't want anybody to get close to him. So I wouldn't be surprised if they find reasons not to give the Jokic. All of a sudden now you're going to hear about voter fatigue when it comes to MVP voting, which never existed before with Jokic. But watch this year, all of a sudden you hear about voter fatigue. But yeah, if you want another championship, I would say top 20. You want another MVP and championship? I put him just outside top 15, because I still penalize him for the fact that I think the level of competition is not what it once was. Like in the days of Chamberlain and Russell, even in the 90s when it was Patrick Ewing, Shaquille O'Neal, Dave Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, a lower tier with Dikembe Mutombo, Rick Smith, Alonzo Mourning. It was just more big men in that era. So that's my take on this, at least. Tell me what you guys think.